Hey, we're gonna do a picture of a tree in autumn today, and you might end up having your picture look something like this one. This one has red and orange and yellow and brown, and this tree behind me is supposed to be kind of an inspiration. You can see all the branches going all the different ways, but you'll need just a few simple supplies. You're going to need a piece of white paper, and then I like to have 4 colors of markers. And you're probably starting to be able to guess what those 4 colors of autumn markers are. The brown, the red, the yellow, and the orange. And then I also have a colored pencil that's brown because I want to be able to do the tree trunk that way. I'm going to move the camera a little closer so you can see better what I'm up to. That should make it easier. So I've started with this piece of white paper, and I'm just going to fold it in half so that it could be a card for somebody. Maybe if you have a coach that you need to thank, or a teacher, or a friend, or somebody you love. And now you'll be able to write the message inside and have your picture on the outside. Now for drawing trees, there are a lot of ways you could go, right? Because a tree's branches, they look like Ys and sometimes sort of crooked lines going off one way or another. I've got a clipboard here to help me so that I can try to make it good. I start with kind of a C shape and another backward C, and then the branches, they go one way and another, but probably most important is that they're not perfectly straight, because branches are rarely perfectly straight, and yours will probably end up looking a lot different than mine. They say that the roots go as far down under the ground as the tree does, with branches up into the sky, and that's hard to imagine, but that's a start. And then we're going to need some colors. So you can use those markers to just color the tips of your fingers if it's okay with your mom. And that's what I did. I start with the lightest one, and I put a different color on each finger. So that way the yellow stays a more pure yellow. So I just take I take a yellow one right here, and one important thing is to use it while it's still fresh. You could also do this with stamp pads, but I just used a marker because I had a marker on hand, and coloring it yellow makes your finger into the stamp and the marker into your ink. And I'm putting lots of yellow in there because the yellow tends to get covered up by other colors. You've probably noticed that too when you're using yellow. It's nice to start with the yellow, fill in as much yellow as you want. And even down here, you can see there are going to be some leaves that fall on the ground, so it's a good idea to add some of those. I'll hold this a little bit closer so you can see. We've got a tree with some yellow. Now for the orange. And I'm going to use the next finger for orange, not mixing it up with yellow in case I want to go back. So I've got orange on here, and I'm using washable markers, which you might also like to do. So that's making some orange leaves come into the picture. You've probably seen a lot of leaves changing color all over town. And I'm going to try to balance out. If I use orange on one side, try to use it on the other. And I am going to put some orange leaves on the ground because that is how it's looking these days. Lots of leaves on the ground. And now we're starting to get some yellow and some orange. Now for red. I've seen some really beautiful red-leafed trees this year. And I'm going to use my next finger, color it red. And then we'll see what happens if we put a little red in. That's starting to look more like an autumn tree, isn't it? And yours at home is probably starting to look more like an autumn tree too. All right, I have brown. I want to go easy on the brown because it's easy for a whole picture, which has been going really nicely, to suddenly get way too much brown. But I'm just going to put a little bit on the pinky and put a little bit up into the tree branches, but also quite a bit down here too, because on the ground is where you start to see lots of brown leaves starting to appear. And I'll even add a little bit of brown to the trunk using the brown marker on my finger to kind of go up and down, and the trunk starts to look a little bit more realistic, like a trunk. Yeah, that's amazing. With just 4 markers, 1 brown colored pencil, piece of paper folded in half, there you are. I hope you have fun making your autumn trees at home too, and that you get a chance to get outside and look at the beautiful trees. This is a wonderful time of year to see how the leaves are changing. I'll see you soon. Bye.